What's up, guys? This is the Power of Mushroom, and I'm coming to you guys not live, but we are back with the One Up Talk Show, and we are here with Spoons and Tayson. Spoons, you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Hey guys, Spoons here. You know who I am, and yeah, we cover Japanese gaming news on the channel, just among some other things that I find interesting, some other indie games, things like that. Review games as well, and you can find me on Twitter, TonberryKing128. Follow me over there, as well as my YouTube channel, Gaming with Spoons, and yeah, I'm turning it back over to you though, Shrooms.
All right, and we're gonna go straight to Tayson. From me to Tayson.
Yeah. How's it
Tayson,
going, everyone? I'm Tayson. Yeah, I mostly talk about Japanese RPGs and RPGs on my channel, whether it be recommendations, sort of educational videos about different games and series. I do a few reactions every now and then, specifically with like the big events, so the gaming events, directs, E3s and such. And yeah, it's always fun to talk about a lot of cool games that keep coming out. As always one after another. It's crazy at the moment, especially with the Final Fantasy VII remake coming out. But yeah, you can find me on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere at Tayson's Gaming Spot, or you can just type in my first name, Teysind. And yeah, look forward to chatting with you. Shrooms, take it back to you.
Yep, and as always, guys, I will have their links in the description below, so you guys can check them out whenever you guys want. They have some great content, and they really deserve the views. So please share their channels. You can follow us all on
and
Twitter.
likewise.
Yep. Anyways, we're gonna get on to our first topic right now, and this topic it's a rumor right now that's going around, but I kind of want to get like our thoughts put together. What could come out of this? So rumors are going around that PlayStation is reportedly they're looking to buy Metal Gear Solid, Silent Hills, and Castlevania, the franchise from Konami, for themselves. Rumors are having it that they want Hideo Kojima to start working on those for more games. I want to get y'all's opinions on it. Like, what do you guys think?
So here's the thing. Let's kind of take a look at this, because this is a rumor only right now. And most of the time, a rumor like this, I would kind of dismiss as something, oh, this is just some fan who's really wanting, this to be true. But we have to take a look at some of the evidence that has kind of started to build up. And it really kind of started with these cryptic... It really kind of started when Konami announced that there was going to be not one, but two new Silent Hill games in the making. And then later on, we would start to see these tweets by people from Kojima Production. We're silently working on a new game, kind of giving cryptic tweets, hinting that something Silent Hill is being reported on. The pencil he was using was a Pyramid brand, and you kind of know how Kojima can be with some of his tweets, particularly with the studio. So it led credence into thinking, oh, maybe they're onto something here. And then we start hearing this rumor that Sony is working with Konami to revive Silent Hills, with Kojima Productions working on it yet again. And this is kind of the point I'd be like, why would they let Kojima work on this game? They ousted Kojima out of Konami after Metal Gear Solid 5. But it got me thinking, what if Sony is doing some kind of backing with this because they have faith into the project? So to hear that Sony is buying Metal Gear Solid, Castlevania, and Silent Hill, I can see it. I really can. But, is Konami going to give aside three of their biggest franchises that make them money? I mean, they can still slap that on a pachinko machine and be like, yeah, we're using this for gambling and things like that. But there's definitely a lot of interesting things coming out of at least Silent Hill, to suggest that that's going to be. I mean, even the case like Silent Hills was going to be revived, and that was going to be done by Kojima Productions, and then it sounded like the original Team Silent was going to be getting back together to make that next Silent Hill game. So again, that's interesting, because the guy who worked on the original Silent Hill is responsible for making the Gravity Rush games, so he currently is employed at a Japan studio as well, leading more to these rumors that Sony could be working on something with Konami regarding Silent Hill.
Jason?
I didn't know that about one of the developers from the Silent Hill games having worked in Gravity Rush. That's
Yeah, it
'cause
was
that's an incredible
it was
series.
the
Gravity
main.
Rush.
It
I
was
actually love it.
the main guy. I'm gonna see if I can find it.
Yep. While you're looking for that, yeah. So what I think is, there's always a possibility that Sony have this interest and pursuit. Rumor or not, these are things that can exist as possibilities. Whether Konami would sell off, three or any of their three sort of biggest video game IPs. I don't think so. I think, like you said, Spoons, these IPs have a lot of monetary value for them in other avenues, and to give that up right now, that is it's probably something that they've got no reason to.
Yeah.
So if anything, I think if we see these series return from, I guess not directly from Konami, but rather from Sony, it would be that Konami would have licensed the IPs out to Sony, and therefore they make some profit from that licensing out because they still own the IP, but then we get Sony developing those games. So yeah, there's the, one of the, I guess, a Silent Hill game rumored to be in development, the main team, and then Sony rumored to be in talks as a mediator through for Kojima and Konami for the Silent Hills IP due to I guess this whole sort of fan sort of outcry of the series, and with the PT demo, I should say, for Silent Hills, and after Death Stranding and stuff, I could see that being a possibility, if not now, maybe one day in the future. Because I mean, even with Dreams surfacing as a game, PT's being remade in that. Like it's just this like phenomenon. PT as a demo. I've never heard of a demo that's been more famous in recent times.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of these rumors. Like some have spanned back to last year, and then all sort of different things popping up. And I'm going to say, the primary ones being sort of these direct tweets. Like we also got a tweet from the main developers of the Silent Hill games. He said some time ago, I believe, that if he could work on another Silent Hill game, he'd want to make sure he can kill off Pyramid Head, at least within the opening or something. And he recently tweeted out RIP Pyramid Head. So it's interesting that we've got that then, the timing with these rumors, and then we've also got that Kojima photo of saying sorry to be silent, and there's that pyramid on the pencil. It's just like the way these things are timing. I mean, it could also be them just having fun with us, but it's never bad to be hopeful, because we've seen that when there's a big enough fan outcry, like with remaking Final Fantasy VII, just from what was a PS3 tech demo of the intro, it took a good decade, but finally happened, and we're now getting the game remade in several parts. So never say never. Metal Gear, don't know what to think about that, because I don't have much experience in Metal Gear series, and I know that's it's got quite a few games in it. And Castlevania, Igarashi could come back to work on that if it's licensed through Sony, but yeah, time will tell. How about you, Shrooms? What do you think?
I do think that it's more of a I do think that it's more of a Sony would be acting more as a mediary between the companies, because I still think Konami could use their IPs to do what they wanted to with them, but they could also be like, yeah, we're outsourcing these to Sony to let them use it, and the evidence there is too coincidental to just dismiss as complete rumor. So I think, if anything, that's what's going to happen there. Or maybe they're just going to come up with some licensing agreement or whatever, like you said. But I really think that it's there's a good possibility. And as for Metal Gear, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say, but
well, I think that title's been damaged.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Well,
too
with
much.
Metal Gear Survive, but I mean, still, it's Metal Gear. It could make a comeback. But you know, like going back with what Tayson was saying about PT, I mean that game in of itself kind of has revolutionized the whole concept of an indie horror game. Really, there's been like so many clones and things repeating it, and you know, it's become a cultural phenomenon.
And since then we've seen this like not only a resurgence in horror games, I guess they've gotten some form of mainstream attention, but we've just gotten a surgence in these Telltale style horror games, and that sort of increased the interest in horror games because they're digestible in different ways. I think that whole knowledge of you can go into these games and can actually save characters or prevent them from death, that sort of removes an element of inevitability that sort of is quite a scary thing in itself when it comes to games. You know, a character that is inevitably going to not make it, or so on, and to have that control, it sort of people become so fascinated by the gameplay to be able to influence the story as opposed to the story influencing the gameplay, and feeling, I guess, more helpless for those games, which were more so like these PlayStation 1, PS2 horror games, Fatal Frame and so on. So interesting times. Resident Evil has gone a resurgence, so why can't Silent Hill? And also, on a little side note, one game that I would love to see remade in that has a horror aspect to it, and I know you know more about the series than I do, Spoons, but they could remake this game in Resident Evil style remake way, and that is Parasite Eve. I'd love to see 1 and 2 remade, much like Resident Evil 2 and 3 remake, and that could be Square Enix's sort of return into the horror genre, even though it's more of an action horror, but still it's got its elements. So,
Yep.
And there's a video floating around just real quickly for shits and giggles that it was talking about how Konami, basically the guy was saying that he didn't think PT was meant to be a demo to show off Silent Hills, but more or less of Kojima's creative way around an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement with Konami to kind of show what he was doing. Interesting video, totally worth watching. But it kind of does make me wonder if Sony was like, yeah, you know what though, Konami, look at how successful this was. Let's help you get the backing to get this done because people want it. You had a hit on your hands and you killed it. So, I'll turn the time back over to you, Shroom. Sorry.
No, you're all good. No, I mean, as far as the other, like Silent Hills, and I think there's like a high possibility, like you said, Spoons, like Sony being like the middleman, and kind of like working with Konami to like probably get the rights or like to help like publish it or something. So I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if like Kojima helped them with that, especially with like PT. Like you all said, it's one of the most famous demos out there. There are PlayStation 4s that are being sold with that demo installed, and that no one ever finishes talking about that game. So it wouldn't surprise me if they did that. As far as selling it though, I don't think so. Konami, I don't think they would sell something like Silent Hills. As far as like Castlevania and Metal Gear, I don't see them doing anything else with Metal Gear. Metal Gear Solid, I think, was just
they'll slap like pachinko machines on it, and that's basically it.
Yeah, and I think after Metal Gear Survive, like the thing is,
well, you heard Konami the rumor. You heard the rumor floating around, right? What they wanted to do with Metal Gear. So the whole reason that whole thing surfaced was because there's actually been this talk of Sony buying Metal Gear Solid and remaking the OG MSX Metal Gear game, like the one made back in the 80s.
I can buy that. I can see Sony buying Metal Gear. The thing is, like Konami right now, they have a bad reputation. Like their reputation is really bad, especially like first they had announced that they were not doing video games anymore. Then they didn't let Kojima finish Metal Gear Solid 5. They took his name off the box, and like they discredited him for like making the game. Then Silent Hills was canceled. They, stopped Kojima from accepting his award. There was just a lot of things, and right now, like I said, Konami has this really bad reputation attached to them. I could see them selling Metal Gear, but if they're working with Kojima, I mean, who knows? That could be that one. It kind of picks Konami back up. Hopefully, they get back into the gaming scene, making games. Just because, like, I haven't seen another Castlevania game.
Yeah.
Like, what? The last one was what?
The
Lords
biggest,
of Shadow?
something like that. But like the biggest thing that puts this in a coffin for me, and just like I don't believe it. Castlevania, Metal Gear Solid, and Silent Hill are Konami's biggest IPs. Like, what have they got
that's what
after
they're known
that?
for. Yeah.
Goemon, which they're not doing shit with at this point, and Contra. I mean, we saw what the last Contra game became, and
they
that was
just
a shit
destroyed
show.
Contra. You can forget about that.
So, like, what are they gonna? What IPs do they have that they're gonna do anything with? Dragon City, their mobile games. I mean, if that really is true, though, and they have no plans on doing anything with these IPs constructive, I say let Sony buy them. At least they'll get developers who are passionate about working on these. At least they'll be able to have a life outside of Konami.
If Sony were to buy them, though, I wouldn't see Metal Gear Solid getting, like, nothing being done with it, unless it was a remake. Because Kojima, he wanted to stop Metal Gear Solid for the longest time. He said that already. There's already been talks about that.
Between me and you, I think Death Strand. So, if you remembered back during the PlayStation 3, he was working on a project that was just deemed Project Ogre, and it was meant to be an open world game.
Yeah.
And I kind of think that whole idea, some of those elements from that game made it into Death Stranding. And, like, I know Death Stranding has some very polarizing opinions, but yet, he kind of created a game that was unique with what it was going with. And I don't know.
I've never played
the topic of this. I gotta show you something.
But I mean,
this just arrived in the mail. The Death Stranding art book.
Album?
Nice.
Oh my god.
No, it's the art book.
Oh wow.
Only just got it, but it's like everything has got the gold coloring, which resembles the game. Like, just from what I can see here, it's so much detail, and it's really.
I can always appreciate a good art book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, definitely.
But I mean, I don't know. Stranger things have happened, and maybe Sony really is looking to get him.
Yeah,
Star Wars got a sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and then there's rumors supposedly floating around that
the whole sequel trilogy is a Death Star.
And there's the whole rumors floating around too that a new night. Well, it's not really rumors; it's more or less confirmed, but it hasn't been officially announced yet. But they're working on another Knights of the Old Republic game, like number 3.
I've heard about that.
So there's just weird things happen, and I mean, we've got Baldur's Gate 3 finally happening with Larian Studios, Divinity Original Sin developers working on that comes out this year. So I mean,
we're basically right now
dead.
We're kind of reliving the 90s, just everything.
Yeah, new Half-Life game.
Oh yeah, Alex for the VR. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to be able to get it. I would love to, but I can't because I'm broke. But I hope it's good. I played Half-Life 2. I know we're getting off the topic, but real quick, I played the second episode. I just think that cliffhanger was totally uncalled for, and you keep promising a third part or like a sequel. If you guys have ever played that, have y'all played the second episode?
No, I haven't played any Half-Life. Besides multiplayer.
Bro,
put it this way.
It's
for me to play Half-Life, they'd have to announce a sequel. Like, why go in and play Half-Life just to be disappointed among the other fans that were never getting it?
No, it's great.
Until Gabe Newell can learn to count to number 3, I'm not playing Half-Life.
That's the moral of the story, guys. But yeah. But back to, Sony buying some of the titles from Konami. I don't see it happening. I don't see them getting full rights. Maybe to Metal Gear. Like, that's the only one I can see because Konami messed that up. That's done, So, like, I don't think anyone's going to buy any Metal Gear game from Konami unless it's by Kojima. But other than that, I don't see, this actually happening. But I do see a Silent Hills. I hope that's going to happen, but we'll see.